How you doing? I'm Callan and this is SNAPPEDHAM. Today we're looking at some cursed masks that some experts believe you should avoid at all costs. But as always, before we dive in, remember to hit that subscribe button for more creepy content just like this.
One Reddit user who goes by the name MaddogMitch56 warns against picking up potentially cursed masks as souvenirs while travelling. According to them, they made this mistake while on a mission trip to Guatemala years ago. Near the end of the trip, they and their friends wanted to find some really unique souvenirs to take home, and one of them picked up an interesting looking mask at a local marketplace. It was made of wood and resembled a skeleton. They state that it had an angry expression and sharp teeth. Even though it was painted bright pink, it was very creepy. It wasn't until later that night that they realised that they may have gotten more than they bargained for. In the middle of the night, the group was awoken by the sound of a loud bang. They believed it was a door slamming shut, but it sounded loud enough to be a gunshot. This happened several more times, and then they eventually saw doors swinging shut on their own. They started to think that the mask might actually be to blame and tossed it outside. They spent the rest of the night cowering at scraping sounds that seemed to be coming from the roof. The following morning, people in other rooms reported having strange dreams featuring the mask. The group's translator said that they should burn the mask immediately. When they went to search for it, they discovered that the groundskeeper had already found and set fire to the cursed item. According to locals, demons can be tied to such items and should never be purchased by foreigners. Although many people would be too terrified to purchase cursed masks, there is a surprisingly fruitful market online for objects with dark energies. One example is an antique death mask that was listed on eBay, with the warning that the buyer should beware if they chose to purchase this allegedly possessed item. The seller states that they purchased the mask at an estate sale, and that the family began facing hardships immediately after, including health problems, businesses failing, and beloved pets passing away. The seller also states that they've used EMF detectors and dowsing rods on the mask, and that both tests indicated strong paranormal energy. The seller's dog seems to agree with the findings, howling and growling at the mask anytime they're in the same room. The seller clearly wants to be rid of the cursed item, afraid of the misfortunes that may be awaiting them. Who knows what tragedy may befall anyone brave enough to become the mask's next owner. Although bidding has ended, you can check out the link to this mask in the description box below. A woman writing to the website Haunting Darkness states that she's never been a believer in the paranormal. Even though her sister, Rose, is a medium, she's never believed in things that fall outside the realm of science. However, one story has shaken her skepticism. One of Rose's clients came to her one day with a mask. The client stated that they had to bring the mask because the mask wanted Rose. They believed that the mask had very negative energy and had been responsible for numerous bizarre occurrences around their home. The owner was terrified of the mask, and when they started to feel that the mask was drawn to Rose, she immediately brought it to her. The medium's sister, despite her skepticism, believed that the mask was cursed. She states that the mask would speak to Rose from the moment she brought it home. Although Rose never really discussed what the mask said to her, she was terrified and wanted to get rid of it. Eventually, she was able to cleanse the mask of its evil and return it to its original owner. But the family has never forgotten this terrifying incident. Another allegedly cursed mask that's been up for auction on eBay is a creepy jester mask that the seller claims is possessed by a spirit called Shema. According to the seller, their family moved into an old home and hired people to fix it up. After ripping out some walls, the contractors eventually abandoned the project after hearing and seeing unexplainable things. The family brought in a psychic who stated that the deceased former owner was angry that strangers were in her home and was causing the unusual happenings. The family eventually found a number of old items in wooden boxes, including the jester mask. The seller, who regularly communicates with spirits, states that each item is cursed by a distinct spirit. Shema, the spirit tied to the Jester mask, is allegedly from the Syrian galaxy and only wishes to help save our planet. Still, the seller warns that they can't predict what might happen to whoever chooses to buy the mask. You can also check out this eBay listing in the description box below. If you have an interest in cursed masks, you're in luck. The Fetid Face is on display in the Travelling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult. However, the museum's owners wouldn't recommend putting the mask on to test its cursed attributes. The museum received the Fetid Face as an anonymous donation. It arrived in the mail with a note reading, "I'm sorry." The mask was filthy when the museum received it, but after cleaning it up, the museum owners had a friend put it on to see what would happen. After a few minutes of wearing it, he began to feel like it was leaving his body and experienced extreme nausea. Others who have worn it report experiencing strange and powerful emotions of anger and jealousy while wearing it that they've been unable to explain. The mask owners believe that the Fetid Face is similar to Japanese no masks, which many believe absorb the emotions of its wearers. Fearing that the mask may contain dark and dangerous emotions, the museum now keeps the mask locked in a display case and doesn't allow guests to actually wear it. Several cursed masks that formerly belonged to Maori warriors can be found on display in New Zealand museums. Considering the disturbing history of the masks, a shelf behind locked glass seems like the best place to store them. The Maori are the indigenous Polynesian people of New Zealand, and throughout history have been known for their fierce warriors. It was a custom of the tribe for warriors to carve masks before heading out into battle. They believed that if the warrior died while fighting, their spirit would remain within the mask that they had carved. While not many of the masks remain, those that do are believed to be quite dangerous to certain people. It appears that men are typically not affected by them, but pregnant women in particular are in danger of falling victim to their curse. It's said that pregnant women who get too close to the masks will suffer from complications in their pregnancies. Some have even suffered miscarriages. The masks currently on display are marked with warnings that women who are expecting should keep their distance for their own safety and that of their unborn children. A Reddit user going by the name of Mask Throw tells the tale of a mask they purchased on a trip to Liberia. According to them, this type of mask was used by the Sunday Secret Women's Society when they performed certain dark rituals on young girls being initiated into the society. Mask Throw took the mask home and displayed it in their living room. They thought it would make a fun and morbid souvenir, but soon had second thoughts about this memento from Africa. According to this user, every night since bringing the mask home, they heard the faint cries of young girls coming from the living room. They also claim to feel malevolent energy, as if the mask is staring at them evilly every time they're in the room. They state they get the distinct feeling that the mask is telling them that it doesn't belong to them, and that they have no right even seeing it. Mask Throw never posted on Reddit again after sharing this story. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at what many consider one of the most cursed masks ever created, remember to hit that subscribe button and tickle the bell icon. That way you'll get push notifications about all our latest content. The so-called Devil's Mask is said to be one of the most cursed masks ever created. It originated with a Native American shaman who secretly performed dark rituals on members of his tribe. When the tribe realized what was happening, they sentenced him to death by fire. At the time of the execution, the shaman appeared wearing a mask made of the flesh and bones of his victims, stating that killing him would only make matters worse for the rest of them. The mask was tossed into the pyre, and while the shaman burned, the mask remained intact. For years, the mask caused calamity after calamity for the tribe before it was eventually lost. One modern-day witness, a member of the tribe, grew up hearing the stories of the Devil's Mask. One day, he was passing an antique store when he spotted a Native American mask in the window. It was hideous and malevolent, and he believed it was the mask from the stories. He went to fetch his grandfather so they could return and end the curse. When they came back to the store, it was engulfed in flames. When the fire eventually ended, there was nothing left but ashes. The witness believes, however, that the mask is still out there, waiting to finish off the remaining members of the tribe.
If you want more content just like this, then check out our episode Most Cursed YouTube Videos right there. Otherwise, there's a scary playlist there you can binge on for hours. Now in the comments section below, let us know which one of these clips you thought was the weirdest. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.